Hey there people, my name is Mayor Great, and today we're going to take a closer look at Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I want to start this review with the disclaimer that this video is not meant for audiences 13 years or younger. I don't know if mentioning this helps me in any way, but with the whole COPPA thing on YouTube, I want to just try and minimize any chances to be sued down the line because of it. But having that said, let's get to the game. So, this game is developed by Respawn Entertainment, also known for Titanfall 1 and 2 and Apex Legends, and was built in Unreal Engine 4. Jedi Fallen Order released on PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on the 15th of November. Now, first of all, let's check the options menu, because that's the most important thing of the game. So, first of all, let's go just down the list. Controls. It is best played with a controller, as far as I've noticed. Keyboard works fine as well. Controllers just feel more natural. Having the rumble in controllers also helps a lot. So, what I've noticed in this game is that you can actually rebind the controller controls, which is something that too many games lack. And it's great to actually be able to change up the control scheme on your controller as well. Without having to rely on some kind of preset module. You can also have the vibration, mouse sensitivity, all that simple jazz that you expect from a game. Gameplay wise, you have some important settings such as auto switch target on enemy death. Could be handy to switch on so that you won't be aiming into the void. I'll show later what that actually means. Auto lock target in combat is also quite nice, so whenever you start combat it auto locks on the nearest enemy, which helps. We have our subtitles, which is always nice to see, but most games have those. However, subtitle scale and subtitle letterbox opacity are some nice inclusions to the game, because that means that people who are a little bit hard of seeing or maybe have trouble reading the subtitles can change it up so that it could help them. Visual wise, we have our options for motion blur, film grain, chromatic aberration, camera shake and brightness setting, of course. Camera shake is a nice one to turn down if you're also having some kind of visual impairment, but other than that it adds a nice little flavor to the game, I guess. Film grain, if you like it, keep it on. I myself quite like it. It just adds a little bit to the game. Motion blur is done tasteful in this game. I don't like it in most games, but in this game it works. It's not been overdone. I kept it on myself, but it's nice in this game. Alright, video settings. So we have our windowed mode, resolutions going all the way up to 3840 by 2160. Let's turn it down before I mess up my recording settings. Max frames per second is always nice to see. All the way goes to 144. I'll just keep it at 90. We have VSync and dynamic resolution scaling. And then graphics quality. And all the other settings. It would have been nice to see some kind of well, some more explanation on what each setting does. And what it changes when you're tuning it down or up. Epic doesn't tell me exactly what it does. High as well. I don't know what that means. It would be nice if it showed me or had some more explanations to go with it, but it works. Would have been nice to see some more options, but it works. So, game volume. We have our game volume, music, effects, and dialogue, which are all separately adjustable. Always good to see. Audio output and dynamic range are also some options. We have our midnight, studio reference, and those are default option as well. Audio output goes all the way to 7.1 surround sound, so that's great. Extras, you can choose to turn off usage data, so that you're not sharing any more than you should be sharing. Or if you want to help with, well, whatever data they collect, then that's your choice. Other than that, usage agreement, privacy and cookie policy, and credits. So you don't have to go looking for it in some kind of, well, stowed away setting or anywhere else. It's in the controls. Then going back into the game itself, I'll be loading a game in which I've been playing for about 9 hours. But before that, I want to show one thing real quick, which is a nice touch they added. When you start a new game, you have, of course, your option for difficulty. However, they actually show what is changed when changing the difficulty. So when you're playing on story mode, your parry timing is... Well, I haven't actually tested out how much time you have, but it looks like you have a lot of time for your parry timing. Incoming damage and enemy aggression is also tuned down a lot. Jedi Knights is the game difficulty that I've been playing on, which just feels good enough. I like Star Wars for story. I like a little bit of challenge in my games, but not like Dark Souls level challenge. So I kept it on Jedi Knight the whole game. But I've heard that Jedi Grandmaster is very difficult. Parry timing is very, very low, and incoming damage and enemy aggressions are also very high. So if you're into that sort of challenge, be my guest. I kept it at Jedi Knights. But let's continue where I left off last time. So quick jump cut later, and we're in the game. Loading doesn't take that long. I haven't... Oh, I got some dialogue already. Loading doesn't take that long. I have it downloaded on my HDD, so it's not the speed of an SSD. However, it still takes only about 10 to 15 seconds to load into this first world, which is... It's totally doable. And right off the bat, you can see that the game looks, well, gorgeous. NPC models and player models are detailed as ever. You can even see some hair physics going on, which is great to see. If I turn around real quick, we have some god rays going on, coming from light sources. We have lens flare, as you can see. Everything you'd expect from AAA games nowadays. So it's a pretty game, but does it play well? Oh hell, it does. So let's quickly find one of the first actual bosses in the game, and most players will probably hate him, and show some combat. Let's quickly check on the map. First little tidbit about this game. The minimap itself is not that great to use. As you can see, you have different levels, which you can toggle by up and down D-pad. But it's still blue on grayish blue, and the holographic look to it doesn't make it all that apparent what you're actually looking at. So it's just, if I open a map, I want to quickly see where I need to go and how I get there. With this game's map design as well, that also plays into this problem. It's just hard to see how to get to certain points. Let's see here. Because there are lots of jumping puzzles and hard to navigate places, it can just be hard to see how I could get from one place to another. As here is perfectly showcased, I think I can jump from there to there, looking at the map. But then we head over to this part. Can I jump from there to there? I don't know. Will I get stuck if I... Well, not stuck, but will I not be able to progress from there to there if I try to? I don't know. And there are some other problems like that. However, the map functions, and what I do like about this game, because the map itself is kind of built like a Metroidvania style game, which means that there are multiple paths toward one goal. There are also many different paths towards different goals, little collectible places, and those are blocked off by, as you can see on the map, these red things. Red means I haven't found the power yet, or the ability to progress to that part of the game. Which is quite nice that they show it on the map in red. That means that I don't have to look for it. If there are any green parts on the map, that means those are places I can go, but I haven't visited. I have found the powers to do so. As you can see, there is one under the ship, which means I found the power to open whatever pathway that is. But let's get into some combat. So first combat would be to my right, if I remember correctly. However, how to get there is the next question, because I cannot go from there to there. I haven't found that power yet. So, you have your standard walking, running, jumping, what you would expect. We also have some climbing going on. And if we get the top, there we go. I don't think I can jump that, so we're not even gonna try. However, if we head to the right and jump from there to there, see some little critters going around. Once you kill certain kinds of monsters and critters, oh, there we go. So, once you kill certain kinds of critters, your little buddy, the buddy on my back, BD1, it's a small droid boy. He'll allow you to scan certain animals, and it'll give you some information about it in your databank, which is always nice to see. I won't open it because of spoilers, and you might want to find out. I mean, I can go for some flora and fauna or boggling studies on Bogano. So we have these creatures called bogglings. Those are those little almost chipmunk-esque, rabbit-esque animals you saw jumping around. And scanning certain scannables gives you some more information about animals. It gives you insights into enemies. And that's a little bit of a nice touch if you want to get more into the Star Wars lore. Then we have traversal. So, different kinds of ways to traverse in the game. You have zip lines, climbing, as I've said earlier. We have wall running, which you unlock at a later date, which allows me to go around. It's almost as if a Metroidvania game had a baby with Uncharted and added Dark Souls-esque combat to it. So, let's show off this combat. There should be a big boy down here. I guess not, because I've already defeated it. So that's good to know. You have a named mini-boss. And apparently if it has a name, you can only defeat it once. Other than that, every single enemy will respawn after each and every single rest you do. That's the Dark Souls-esque part of it. If I get hurt, I have the ability to meditate. And if I rest here, I get all my health back. I get my health stims back, health potions. And my force powers back. However, it also respawns every single enemy. So, here we have some more bogglings just jumping around. Let's quickly run further in order to find some enemies we can actually fight, which would be nice to showcase. There we can see some more enemies jumping around, but those are not the ones I need. There should be. There we go. There's a big boy. So this is actually a quite nasty enemy. If you see an enemy turn red, it means that attack is unblockable. So, I've currently locked on this target. That means I will circle around it. Nope, thank you very much. And my camera will be centered towards it. So, the Dark Souls part that people often say about this game is the fact that you have to think about your attacks, about parrying, about dodging, and all that jazz. We have our force powers, which at the start of the game you only have slow, so I'm going to slow this bastard down. There we go. Now I can just hit him with my saber, as you would have expected. It also leaves nice marks on him. We also have our block. And most attacks that aren't red are actually blockable. There you go. You see he took a nice amount of damage from my health bar. So I'm gonna take a little jump away. You get a small amount of health potions or health stims at the start of the game. You can find more. out in the wild. And the way it works is I can just use it, get healed. However, I got 3 left. The only way to get those back is to rest at a, well, almost bonfire, but at a meditation spot. So you gotta think about your health as a resource. So let's quickly finish this bastard. There you go. So, it's quite hard, actually. Because blocking can be... Well, you need to really look at the enemy in order to figure out what their patterns are. Now, if I were to die against this enemy, he would take all my experience I've collected so far, and I would basically be reset to, well, an empty experience bar. If I then come back to this enemy and hit him once, I get full health, a full force bar, and I get all my experience back. So that's a nice way to add some consequences to your death. It's not too punishing, you get it back, but it's still a consequence. Now let's finish this guy off. So, one last thing I want to say about this game is the fact that their UI design is phenomenal. It's minimalistic, it only shows me exactly what I need to know at the moment that I need to know. So I can currently see that my health bar has a little bit of a dip in health. I have 2 of those stims left, and that's it. No big arrows pointing me to where I need to go. No, nothing. You can also see that my force meter is also currently not showing because I'm not in combat. Force is unlimited when I'm not in combat. So it's nice that they took the time to actually think about the way they designed their UI. So, heading into the ship that you travel by, it's called the Mantis. You'll find 2 of the NPCs that you'll interact with the most. We have Sarah, and we have Grease, who's currently over here. You can talk to them if you want to. They have some neat dialogue and extra in-depth information about where they came from, what their history is, and all that jazz. Other than that, this ship is a place to rest if you need to, and a place to customize your lightsaber, which is nice to see in a Star Wars game. I mean, we all have our preferences for the color of our lightsaber. You can change your color. I currently only have blue and green unlocked. The emitter, which is only visual. Most of the customization, well, actually every single customization option is only visual. The color doesn't change anything about the damage output. The emitter, switch, sleeve, or material doesn't change anything about whatever the lightsaber does. However, it's still nice to have the option to change it. All these items like switches and sleeves, emitters, can be found in chests spread around the map, so that's another reward for exploring. However, one problem I have with the fact that you can customize your lightsaber is the fact that if I choose, for example, Duty and Resolve, nice, material, let's go for, oh, this one I guess, and the switch will change it to Duty and Resolve. If I now wait for him to look and put it away, there we go, and I would head outside, I wouldn't be able to see my own sword anymore. That's the big deal about this game. The fact that it doesn't change anything set-wise, well, it's not that bad. However, if I'm in combat, I can't really see what my sword is doing. I mean, the color would matter, but other than that, I don't see what kind of switch I have or what kind of sleeve I have. So, it doesn't change all that much. Other than that, you can change your own poncho, which is great to see. Also doesn't change anything set-wise, but it does change the visuals. Every single customization is all the same skin as far as I've noticed. You have your jacket, which is different from your Rekka Scrapper poncho. But other than that, it's just a poncho with a different color and maybe a different texture, shoulder pad or anything, but not. There are no drastically different outfits. You can also recolor your outfits. You can recolor BD1, but again, no other skins, only different colors. And that goes for your Mantis as well. Different colors, not different skins. It would be nice to see different skins as well, but who knows, they might make some cosmetic DLC. I don't know if I would be into buying it. It would just be nice to see some kind of different kind of skins instead of just, well, no, different kind of models instead of different kind of skins. Then on to the meditation part. So, headed in my ship is a meditation place. It's right around the corner. So, this is your meditation screen. I have the ability to rest, which I've already explained. I can leave, of course, and you have your skill tree. Your skill tree consists of 3 major paths. We have our Force, Lightsaber, and Survival path. You start out at the bottom, and every single upgrade at the bottom costs 1 skill point, as you would have expected. New skills mostly are just extra buttons to press, which allows you to do different things. So here I can look at Dash Strike. What does it do? I can now dash over greater distances and hit the enemy. I have Improved Dash. What does it do? I can dash over even greater distances. Leaping Dash. Show me what Leaping Dash does. There you go. Different kind of attack. You don't unlock that many new and interesting ways to attack. The ones that are there are nice, but I would have liked to see some more variation in attack styles or ways to play. And the Force and Survival aren't that interesting as well. Holding Push allows Call to push groups of enemies and stagger larger enemies. You start out with the ability to push a single enemy. So now I can just push more. I can regain more force. And regain more force when blocking, when hitting blocked enemies. Holding slows allows Kel to slow his target for longer duration. So most upgrades are just you get more of X, or you can now stun more of Y. Here, maximum life is increased. Maximum life is increased once again. Kel automatically deflects blaster bolts. Well, that's a different one. That's actually a nice one. But as you can see, most of it is just you get more of Y, you get more of X. I would have liked to see some more variation in skills. But other than that, it works and it serves its purpose. It's just your skill points are your way of progress. And the reward you get for spending skill points would have been greater if your skills would be more interesting. But it works. Combat in and of itself is fun enough. So it keeps you busy. Now I'm sounding a little bit down about the game, but actually the whole package is just great. There are no microtransactions. The game just is solid. Respawn did a great job. It looks like EA gave them all the free will they needed. And they made a great game. And I think it's definitely worth its money. And you should definitely check that out. So, this has been my review of Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order. I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, take care.